The Lancet Medical Journal noted a report by medical staff who treated a 34-year-old physician who was 27 weeks pregnant and sought treatment for severe pain in her wrist. She had no history of trauma and had not engaged in any excessive physical activities in the previous days. However, on Christmas Day 2013, she spent an estimated 6 hours holding a weighty mobile phone while sending vast quantities of messages. The diagnosis was then nicknamed WhatsApptis. This story might seem funny to you, but it's an actual real-life story. This story actually shows us about social media addiction. Now, did you know that the average user spends 16.8 hours a week using social media and other online communication according to statistics? That is 14% of the total time in a week after we manage sleep. Of course, social media have many benefits, whether to build relationships, share your expertise, and increase your visibility. You also can educate yourself and use it to connect anytime with anyone. But is social media harmful to me? We must remember that social media companies try to make these products as addictive as possible. We are all vulnerable to social approval. We really care what other people think about us when you upload a new photo of yourself on Facebook. There's a moment where our mind is very vulnerable to knowing what other people think of my new profile photo. And so, when we get new likes on our profile photo, Facebook, knowing those, could actually message me and say, "Oh, you have new likes on your profile photo." It knows that we'll be vulnerable to that moment because we all really care about when we get tagged on a new photo or we get liked on a new profile photo. It is as we have been infected. The result is now we walk around searching for feedback using social media. We know that engagement with social media and our cell phone release a chemical called dopamine. Dopamine is the exact same chemical that makes us feel good when we smoke, when we drink, and when we gamble. In other words, it's highly addictive. Given an entire generation that has access to an addictive numbing chemical called dopamine through social media and cell phone, as they are going through high stress, they don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with stress. So when significant stress starts to show up in their life, they are not turning to a person, they are turning to social media. They are turning to this thing which offers temporary relief. We know the sign is clear that people who spend more time on Facebook suffer higher rates of depression than people who spend less time on Facebook. That's a problem and an addiction. If you are sitting in a meeting with people you are supposed to be listening to and talking with, and you put your phone on the table, it's the same as you are saying to them that you are just not that important to me. You must remember that social media isn't 100% real, and you don't ever see real life in it. The 99% of our life behind the scene, the unglamorous, unfiltered day-to-day blend normality, and you end up comparing your behind the scene to other people's fake highlight reels, and using others as a mirror or benchmark for how you should look, how successful you should be, or how you should live. You will become your happier self when you stop putting pressure on yourself to be more like someone else, and they know that this causes depression. They are injecting things into your head that you didn't ask for. I think the key to use social media is in moderation. But how to fight it if you have the addiction? Here is some suggestion. First is to turn off push notification on social media. We must remember that not all notifications are good enough to be bothered. The social media company is enabling our brain to be triggered by notification, and the best way is to turn off all the notification. Second is to create physical distance between you and your devices. I cannot stress enough that please, especially in night, please make a habit to put your phone away. Third is to make plans for real connection. In this COVID era, even video calls through FaceTime or Zoom are more powerful ways to connect than using social media. And the last is to use grayscale mode. I think this is the most effective way to combat the addiction. The idea is to make your phone less fun to use. Lastly, please use this link to learn more about this addiction and how to fight it. Thank you for listening.